Hi, this video is talking about music once again, just like every other video I make. 2021, the pop girls that delivered and those who didn't. Since I'm mostly a K-pop fan now, it was thanks to the pop bible of 2015, Carly Rae Jepsen's Emotion, that thrust me back into the American scene, where I found some current and old albums that I'd been depriving my ears from enjoying. Ella Henderson's Chapter 1, Halsey's Badlands, and Lana Del Rey's Honeymoon, to name a few. Now it's 2021, and I have a number of singers on my radar, with the gates open to anyone who wishes to attend the party. But I must say, most of my pop girls this year have not delivered their best work, letting me down, or maybe I just don't get it yet. I hope it's the latter, but here are the albums that have been on repeat, those that need to grow on me, and those that need to have these artists go back to the drawing board. Warning now, your feelings might get hurt if you spend too much time fighting for your favorites. Proceed with caution. It's been almost 4 years since the release of her album So Good that introduced me to this Swedish star. In those 4 years, maybe the anticipation for the follow-up album made my expectations too high, or the songs on Poster Girl just don't measure up to the jams on So Good. Leading up to the release, she dropped us a few gems like Ruin My Life and All the Time, which was sadly snubbed from the regular version of the album for some idiotic reason. This album has some good songs on it, but for the most part it was very filler to me. The appeal and patience I had for the album when it was released in March quickly faded by April, and now Ruin My Life, Talk About Love, and Wow are the only songs I go back to. Back to the drawing board, ma'am. Lorde loves to drop the albums on us and disappear afterwards for years on end, which is good and bad. Good because we miss her presence, bad in the sense that we build our expectations up too high. Solar Power brought this more happier side to Lorde with a more acoustic pop sound than her previous two albums. Every time I've tried to play this album, I end up falling asleep, so thank you for being my auditory NyQuil. I guess that's one good thing. Maybe one day I'll understand this album, but right now I'm still lost in melodrama and pure heroin. I know that this album has divided a lot of people, and I'm still very much on the fence, but more so leaning on the negative. I thoroughly enjoyed Manic from last year and was wondering what was next for her. What came this year was the iconic album cover that had everybody talking, and an interesting mix of songs. This album gave me very much more alt pop rock vibes in some of the songs, which I don't mind one bit, but I think overall I was a little underwhelmed by the entire project. As of now, with a few listens under my belt, I have yet to pick any song that's my go-to or any song that really stands out to me like I can with her first 3 albums. But I do think this has the potential to grow on me even more. Each time I listen to it, I find myself enjoying it more. I'll admit, some of those singles she released after When We All Fall Asleep were not it at all for me, but then she gave us Therefore I Am, and I was sold again. Long-awaited follow-up, this album definitely has a different feel emotionally in ways, all given with her signature singing style. First listen, I was not a really big fan of this album, but by no means was it a terrible listen. Recently, I've re-listened to this one, and it's grown on me since the last time, and I only see myself growing to enjoy this project with more time. Just like Halsey's, each time I listen to this album, I find myself enjoying it more and more. It's a grower, not a shower. Following the amazing 2019 Norman fucking Rockwell, Lana had wasted no time in teasing for White Hot Forever, which would later be Chemtrails Over the Country Club. I do like that with each album, she's always stepping out of the bounds she set in the previous release. I wouldn't say this is a bad album, but I do not compare it to my favorites like Born to Die and Honeymoon. I do find myself coming back to this album since it's been released, so it's definitely grown on me since my initial first listens of the album. I do think this album needed more musical difference. Most of these songs are heavily led by piano. I love my Melancholy Queen musically, and I'm looking forward to Blue Banisters whenever that album's released. Honestly, it was love at first listen for me. I'd loved the singles she released prior to the drop date, and once I had the full Planet Her to listen to, I was not disappointed in the slightest. Honestly, Payday through You Right, that section is so solid, there was no way she could miss. My favorite chunk of the album, hands down. She's an artist that I just grow more in love with every time she drops a new album. I had no idea who Ash was until the album was released and I saw it in the new music section on iTunes, and I'm glad I checked it out because this album, and I clicked instantly. I was greeted with the amazing first song, Till Forever Falls Apart, and continued to be blessed with great song after great song. She has this angst, but she's that girl with quirkiness in the lyrics that just matched together perfectly. She crashed the party, and she made a statement. Like Ash, I had no idea who Maisie Peters was, but I quickly found out and was not disappointed in the outcome. I've been obsessed with this album since it came out on the 27th of August. I'm 20 and probably obsessed right now. What a way to open up the album. It's a great mix of upbeat pop songs and slower tracks, all with angst of a young adult and the story she has to tell the world, all sung in her very cute, unique vocal tone. I can't tell you my favorite song on the album because it's a complete no skips, no head scratches, no confusion album for me. Check out the single Psycho and John Hughes Movie to start, or just listen to the damn album and hear for yourself. Honestly, the girls with the debut albums are carrying 2021 for me. Everyone was talking about Driver's License at the start of this year, and with good reason. Right away, we could see the picture she was painting with her lyrics. She was teenage angst at its finest. She was out of the box for the girls that did music from the Disney Channel cookie cutter image. You know it usually takes them a few years to crack that mold. I had so much hype for Sour, and she delivered on all of the fronts. She understood the assignment, and she dropped one of the best albums of the year in our hands. I hope that she continues the momentum with the next album because she gave what she had to give with Sour, and I honestly can't wait for more. This is my favorite album of 2021 in music, pop-wise, English-wise so far. What am I looking forward to next? Right now, there's only one thing that I'm waiting for. It is Kacey Musgraves' Star-Crossed. It has been way too long since Golden Hour, but until then, thank you for listening and possibly getting offended with my opinions on what pop has given us so far this year that I cared about. Thank you. Bye.